What's happening guys, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Bat League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing my run to Expert in the Great League. We're using Pokogrind's team today, which is Umbreon in the lead, Cresselia and SERPERIOR. This is a super strong team, super bulky, a lot of great coverage, and overall, this team performs super well for me. I even went as high as 2794 with this team, so I highly recommend trying out this team. And once again, big shout out to Pokogrind who came up with this original team a few weeks ago. Really liked it, and the one thing that I don't like about the team, I'll tell you, is it is super bulky. So if you face an opposing bulky team, the matches do quite often go down to the timer. The Great League is pretty dominated by bulk these days. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you prefer running bulky teams, or more like fast move pressure teams, charge move pressure like Swampert? Let me know in the comment section down below. What is your favourite type of team to run in the Go Battle League? When I was running this team, it kind of felt like I was playing Ultra League. You have just insane bulk, and the matches do go down to the timer quite a lot. But if it is a competition for bulk, this team's going to win pretty much every time. There were matches where I had Registeel, which is a very big core breaker for this team, by the way. We will discuss what you do with Registeel here in a moment, but we had a Registeel team where we actually beat them by timeout, which is pretty insane. Anyway guys, it's been a while since I've done a shoutcast, about 3-4 days. Sorry for the lack of uploads on the channel. I've been just grinding a Sunshine Cup off stream. Hope everybody here who's watching is having a fantastic day. If you're feeling generous today, drop a like on the video, it helps out a ton, and of course, go ahead and subscribe if you like these type of videos. Yeah, so this match here, I think it was the Dragonair lead. I like to stay in and throw off 2 foul players before they get to the 2 body slams. You basically win the 0s and the 1s, I think, with Umbreon. In the 2s, it gets a little bit tricky, so I kind of like to grab shields off the opponent, and then swap out right and go into Cresselia, try to see what they have in the back. As I've talked about recently, Cresselia is very strong, and there's not really a lot of like amazing answers to Cresselia. Even Sableye takes super effective damage, so it is quite a good Pokemon. So let's talk about this match. Steelix lead, you do want to stay in for a while, but you do not want to CMP. So you lose CMP as an Umbreon, so you go for the overfarm, the opponent will instantly for the breaking swipe, and then you basically get off 2 moves before they get off their second breaking swipe. So you can either play this in the 0s and just whittle each other down. I think you just about do in the 0s, or like me, you can throw 1 or 2 charge moves, swap out, and then look to realign later on when your moves are not debuffed. Now the opponent's actually staying in here, which is quite surprising, so we're going to start firing off Frenzy Plants. Yep, the opponent lets it go, which again is quite surprising, considering they're staying in. I thought that was quite odd. They may be quite weak to this in the back, but Steelix is just such a bulky Pokemon that they can just stay in against their counters, right? I had a pretty popular tweet the other day, like, you know, these things literally just stand against Swampert, like, what's that all about? Steelix is quite a busted Pokemon with Breaking Swipe, and it probably needs a nerf at this point. I allowed the opponent to counter me down because I want alignment here, Cresselia on the Medicham, and of course our switch timer is up here as well. So we're in a good position, we've got 2 shields here, we do not have to shield a single thing off Medi, and the opponent's down a shield. We come in with Umbreon, we've got like 100 energy, we banked a ton of it earlier against the Steelix, right? So that's one good thing about playing against Steelix users. You sometimes do have a chance, if you have a bulky Pokemon, to get a massive overfarm and come out like this with just a ton of energy. I'm sticking to good timing here. I'm willing to invest Protect Shield here. We're going to go ahead and do a 1 and throw here. And we should get off another 2 foul plays here very easily. If the opponent shields us, I'm happy to let this go. Yeah, we'll get off the next foul play just about. The opponent should be just getting to their move here, so this is pretty good. If you're in bad timing, of course, to get off the move and make sure they don't get their move off. The opponent realizes that Cresselia is going to require about 50 Ice Punches, so the top left. Like I said guys, Cresselia is only available in the Great League through trading, so if you do have any friends, definitely do that. Now, you've seen a Sandslash lead and a Medi swap, so probably Azu in the back right. We've got SERPERIOR for Azu. In general guys, your answer to Sandslash in this team is Umbreon, so if you get a Sandslash lead, you stay in. If the opponent's on Powder Snow, I think they can actually flip that matchup, or they can certainly make it a lot closer, that's for sure, but you can at least get it very low, and at that point your Cresselia should be basically free in the back right. Because they usually, if they have a Sandslash lead, they usually have either Medi, Azu, or both. So Cresselia should just basically be free at that point. We're going to go for Grass Knot here, which will take out the opponent. And of course we've overfarmed. In that Medi match, you want to try to get yourself low, but you also want to come out with a Moonblast. The opponent can try and commit to the farm down here. And like I said guys, we're just going to try and stick to alignment here. I'm not going to let the opponent necessarily swap out and give me a bad matchup. Absolutely no need. Umbreon is bulky enough to take all these moves, and the opponent's actually staying in here. I'm expecting the catch, there it is, and in comes SERPERIOR. The opponent should be seeing the writing in the wall, of course they do, and they top left that match. Gligar lead, this is a lead you stay in. Now, I think that I misplayed this one in the first time around. We go for 5 and throw, which is good. The opponent usually can outpace to the first dig. Not sure why they didn't throw it. We're going to go for a dig here, and I think I shield this one. You don't have to shield this, guys. Just let this go. You comfortably win this match, even if they go straight dig. I thought because Gligar is fairly bulky that they might be able to, you know, get you very low, and they can get you relatively low. My thinking there is that they're not going to be at the first move on an Umbreon, so I might as well shield up the first one, but it is pretty unnecessary. The opponent goes for swap into Licky, which is not an answer, which actually might be an argument for shielding Umbreon, right? Because a lot of these teams have Lickitung and Lantern in the back, which of course is a very popular team. So like, the more you think about it, maybe it is worth shielding, right? But I just don't think you have to. Even this Body Slam right here, this is going to do absolutely nothing. They cannot lick us down. We're just going to get off 2 more foul plays, which is going to put them in a very tricky spot. And I'm thinking here, maybe they don't have a good answer to this, right? So, okay, they CMP me, so I'm just going to let this go. And at this point, we can come in with our Cresselia and look to go for an overfarm. This should be in a pretty good spot. I think I could even look to get rid of this thing, right? Preserve some health. But I would like to come out with some energy for Gligar. The Gligar should be roughly in Grass Knot range. So that should be very, very good for us here. We're just going to keep farming, keep farming. I think we're up to about 100 energy here, or very close to. We'll go for the Grass Knot, and that'll of course take out the Licky. Now, I should even be able to get off a Moonblast on this thing, but I go straight for the Grass Knot. I realise it's not really necessary. Boom, that takes them out, and in comes Lantern. Gligar lead, Lickitung swap, more often than not. You're going to see a Lantern in the back. Very, very common team, and good games to the opponent here. Hopping into the next battle, Umbreon versus Steelix. We're going to play this a little bit better this time, right? So we're going to overfarm and not get CMP'd, which is definitely a good idea. We do lose CMP here. The opponent is going to throw the Breaking Swipe. Yes, very original. Steelix is doing what Steelix is doing. And we're going to fire off, I think, 2 foul plays here before we swap out. You don't want to like stay in for too long, right? Because you end up getting debuffed into Oblivion and your foul plays are not really doing much. But as you can see, we've got them whittled down to like 45% health, 40% health. And as you've seen at the start, I went into Serperior before. You do really want to go into Cresselia. Serperior is more your closer in the team. I decided I would just put the pressure on them and go straight into Serperior. Of course, I was just learning the team. It's a team that my Discord members were using as well last season, so I was kind of like getting some feedback from them, like, yo, what do we do against this? Do we stay in? Like, while I was streaming on YouTube. By the way, thank you everybody who's tuned into the YouTube stream. I'll be streaming in a couple of hours, so get your notifications on, guys, and join our Discord if you want to be notified when I'm live. In comes Wallface. Serperior has a fine matchup here. It's super bulky, man. I really do like Serperior quite a lot. At the beginning of the season, whenever I seen it got Aerialus, the Aerialus buff, I didn't think it was going to be this good. I was like, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool. It's like an, you know, an Elemental Punch clone for Serperior. But as it turns out, and of course with the latest regional, there's a regional actually going on today, but the one before, of course, somebody was using it quite a lot. I think Tomahawk UK was having a lot of success with Serperior, and that kind of ramped it up in popularity. So the opponent gets our last Protect Shield, and we protect the snipe. The opponent banked an Ice Punch. I think this is the game-winning play right here. If I got sniped with Medicham, I was going to lose this game for sure. I do end up seeing ping on 100 energy. This is perfectly fine. As I mentioned, it's going to take about 50 of these Ice Punches to KO the Cresselia. This is the biggest wall to Medi that you can imagine. Boom, that goes through. And we're just going to get rid of it here, retain some health on Cresselia, just to make sure that Basti cannot farm us down, and allow us to burn our Switch Clock here. I'm going to overfarm as much as possible, throwing good timing, of course, where possible. And this is getting pretty close. I decide I need to swap out of here and actually force the opponent to throw, because they actually could have farmed me the whole way down. They go for Flamethrower, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to stick to good timing on this. We'll get this first one off in good timing, and we'll just insta-throw the second move, because of course the timer's coming up. Can we get the move off? 5 seconds. Guys, I swear, maybe... How many battles did I play with this team yesterday? Maybe 80, 90 battles. I'm sure at least 20 or 30 of them went very close to the timer. Which, like I said, if you're not interested in that style of gameplay, I completely understand if you don't want to use this team. In comes Gligar. I decided to come in here and stay in here and chip it. I want to actually let them throw the move here and bank a move if possible, and probably go into Cresselia. Yep, we eat the move. As you see there, that done so little damage. So me shielding that earlier was a little bit silly. Dig coming through, we're just going to insta-throw this move. Go for the Moonblast. I'm thinking I can Moonblast and farm down, and we do get the 10% chance of the attack drop. The opponent comes back in with Lickitung. I'm getting tongue-tied here with the Lickitung. Getting absolutely tongue-tied here. Grass not coming through, and we actually catch the move on Umbreon. So a lot of dancing around. I stayed in and misaligned the timers at the beginning, but now we have the matchup we want here. And again, with Gligar and Licky, it's very common to see Lantern with this team. I was a little bit unsure with energy, so I just throw the move here. Sometimes, guys, you know, it's tempting to overfarm, but if you genuinely don't know what their energy is, just for the move. I've seen that happen quite a lot to myself and others. In comes Registeel. Now, this is a big, big problem. So generally speaking, guys, let's talk about Registeel, right? I come into Cresselia, basically force them to throw energy. All of the moves are resisted from Reggie on this thing. They go for that. I don't even get off the Grass Knot, unfortunately. Now, what I'm going to most likely do is come into Serperior. So Serperior is probably your best Reggie answer. I do go for a shield here. They go straight for the Focus Blast, and they come in with Gligar. I decide I have to eat one of these moves. and they end up throwing the second one. I thought I could farm them down. A little bit unfortunate, but as you guys are about to see here, these Frenzy Plants are going to start adding up, and the opponent really should start shielding here, so Frenzy Plant number 2 is going to come through here, and I'm thinking, okay, we can maybe go for a catch. We failed to catch, but the opponent has to throw anyway because they can't lock on us down, and as you guys can see, the timer is coming up, and we get off an Aurelius, and the purpose of me throwing this move is to make sure they can't get off another move, and I win the timeout. With Registeel, this is probably the biggest core breaker, and most of my losses came from Registeel teams. If you get it in the lead, you pretty much just have to stay in, I think. Force them to throw, even if you have to shield up a couple of times. They're going to have to throw 2 moves anyway, so get off your first move as quickly as possible, right? Get the most damage through. They most likely do go for Zap Cannon first, because they have to throw 2 moves no matter what. So that's generally the play for Reggie. If they don't get the attack debuff, you can put through a decent amount of damage with Umbreon, and you can probably just like let the second move go or whatever. I would just probably let the first move go and maybe look to shield the second one. Generally speaking, they go for Zap Cannon first time around. So it's a very, very tricky Pokemon. But again, we just have extreme bulk on this team. I see him pay the Stunfisk, by the way. I'm not letting them get off another Rock Slide. But we can eat Rock Slides super comfortably. They actually shield it, which is so surprising. In this situation, guys, I don't think you shield these because you generally just get farmed down, right? Now I've got more energy than I had before. In comes Venusaur. I go for the snipe of Umbreon. Did the opponent catch it on something here? They caught it in Carbink. So I'm really, really happy that I preserved my Serperior here in this situation. I'm hoping that between the Aureliuses from Serperior and the Frenzy Plant for this thing, we can look to deal with both Venusaur and Carbink. Very, very tricky, guys. We can whittle this down, and I'm really just hoping and praying the opponent goes for a move here. By the looks of things, they're committing to the farm down, which makes this very, very tricky here. This makes it very, very tricky. I go out to Cresselia. I decide I'm going to try and keep Umbreon here, just in case. I think I banked a foul play, which could be very, very vital for us. The opponent gets off a Frenzy Plant. We can definitely live 1 Frenzy, but I'm going to shield this move up. Cresselia is my healthiest Pokemon, and I'm trying to keep it that way. I'm hoping and praying for the 10% debuff. We do not get it on this occasion, and I think we can still live a Frenzy. We end up CMPing on this move, which is a little bit unfortunate. Frenzy Plant coming through. We get off the Moonblast. Now, I've got a Frenzy Plant stored on Serperior, and I've got a Foul Play stored on Umbreon. So this is going to come down to whether I can get off the move or not. In comes the Carbink. They've got a ton of energy. Will this actually one-shot from Serperior? I wasn't quite sure at this point. We come in, go for the Frenzy Plant. Now this is the moment of truth. Can we actually beat this team? It actually one-shots them. Almost. It doesn't quite one-shot them. And again, the game's coming down very close to the timer. Amazing lead with Licky Tongue. Let's see what the opponent comes into. They come into Surf Etched, so it's making me think they probably have a double counter line. They will go for a super effective Night Slash here, which can make this a little bit awkward. I decide just to go and get rid of them. I don't think they're going to shield this move. They do shield it, which is very, very surprising, and not really what the opponent should be trying to do here. I'm happy to let this go, because we can just deal with this with any of our Pokemon. If the opponent wants to go for an extra shield, that's perfectly fine, right? So we've got them super low, and we just come in with Serperior here. I'm thinking I'll shield a potential Brave Bird, and the opponent gets off another Night Slash. We can definitely eat the second one, and at this point, they're very, very close to farm down range. Yes, we get them farmed the whole way down. In comes Medicham, and in comes Umbreon. I just instantly swapped out. We're going to get some damage free with this thing. In the Zero Shield scenario, in the match between Umbreon and Medi is very, very close. They go for an Ice Punch. Unless they're running Dynamic Punch or Pop, it's a very close matchup. These foul plays really add up, and again, the bulk of Umbreon really shows. As you're about to see here, this one Ice Punch will knock KO, and he might even be able to get off another move. Can we get it off? We just about do get it off. Very, very close. One more counter is going to KO here, and they're on 1 health. In comes Lickitung, run back-to-back frenzies, and as you're about to see here, the bulk is going to keep up with Licky. I wasn't sure if I should go for 2 Aureliuses at this point. I was thinking 2 frenzies plus farm down might be the way to go, but actually, as it turns out, we still do need another move. So, kind of a little bit awkward. Now at this point, I wasn't sure if Medi had a move or not. I decided to trust in the fact that we have more health and we can farm it down with 1 Vine Whip. They don't have a move, and that's good game, so we shielded up the Body Slam correctly there. In comes Gligar. We're going to stay in here for a while at the very least. You can consider swapping out of here at some point. But again, Gligar and Licky is a very, very common team. We definitely beat Gligar with Umbreon. We're going to stick to good timing. And oftentimes the opponent comes into Licky, like halfway through this matchup, right? They don't want to sacrifice their Gligar completely off the start, just in case that we have some sort of grass type in the back, which of course in this case we do. In comes Lickitung. And again, guys, we're just super happy to stay in here. I allow the opponent to throw first. I think I actually caught them on bad timing there, which is good. If you're using a 1-turn move like Lick, you need to throw 2 licks into each Snarl before you throw the move. Otherwise, the opponent can get like 2 or 3 turns of free energy, which is never a good thing. I think I did catch them out on that there. As you can see, this is just absolutely fine. I can get off one more foul play, and basically, oh no, they power whip me, so that's a very good play by the opponent. But we can come in with Cresselia and go for an overfarm on this, and that's going to put us in a position where we can just basically look to throw one move against the Legatung here. We're almost up to 100 energy, not trying to let them get to another move. I don't think that's quite KOs. Yeah, they still get off the move. But it allows us to come up with a move for the Gligar, which will basically take it out from that range. Yep, boom, we're going to fire off this move. And we'll see what the opponent wants to do. Do they have something weak to Cresselia in the back? It certainly appears to be the case. Now, I think I'm going to shield back here and just try to whittle this down a little bit. I'm thinking it's Lantern. We've seen this team before. It's always Lantern. And we're basically just going to start trading shields. In comes Vigoroth of all things. Was not expecting a Vigoroth in the back. So this is looking a little bit tricky because they outpace us. However, we are much more bulky. I do the opponent a favour here by going for Frenzy. I think it's very obvious that they're going to shield this move. So a little bit awkward here. We go for a CMP tie. Of course, the opponent wins the CMP. I'm going to get off the move nonetheless. Body Slam coming through. And we'll get off this next Frenzy plant. This will do heavy damage to this. And my switch timer is almost up here. We can't quite swap out. We don't quite get off the move. They're within one Psycho Cut range. But can we live a Body Slam or a Bulldoze? The opponent goes for a Body Slam. And we live on 1 HP and a dream. We started yesterday on 2604. Like I said, we maxed out at 2790. I was using a different team, got over 2800. So like I said, I will be streaming today with a different team. I'll just tell you the team. It's Trevenant, Carbink, and Registeel. I don't think I'm going to stream that team because it's a very RPS team if you get the wrong alignment. Now, Umbreon here versus Cresselia, they're allowing me to get off 2 Moonblasts, which will get this thing quite low and put it in a position where my own Umbreon can easily take it out. Now, I decide here, because you're messing about here, I'm going to try to get off another move. Can we get it off? We do get off the next move. One bad timing. And we might actually be able to flip swap on this Umbreon. We come into... Oh, I was trying to catch the move. Unfortunately, wasn't able to. They cannot insta-kill us here, and in comes Medi. Again, you've seen this before. It's a very close matchup. Best case scenario for me here, guys, is... Oh, they're on Dynamic Punch. Best case scenario, though, is for me to get it low and put it in a position where a Serperior can farm it down. But the opponent's on Dynamic Punch, which makes this much worse. If this is an Ice Punch, this doesn't KO. It is Dynamic Punch. And in comes Cresselia once again. So they're on Dynamic Punch and Psychic. Most likely if they didn't go for Ice Punch. So Moonblast coming through. The opponent actually shields it up, which is quite surprising. And I think at this point, I'm pretty happy to let Cresselia go. Or do I shield it? No, I just let it go. Dynamic Punch coming through. I know that they don't have Ice Punch most likely. So what I'm thinking here is I can shield once. In comes the Dynamic Punch again. And hopefully farm it down. In comes Noctowl. And this is just game over, unfortunately. So I thought I might as well show one loss in the video. I don't think I've showcased the defense, the Deoxys lead. It's a very good lead for us. They come into Dugong. I think I'm a little bit slow in the swap and allow them to get off the Icy Wind before I get off the Grass Knot. You do want to be a little bit faster in the swap. You don't want to go into Serperior here because this thing is just so bulky and so annoying that it does a lot of damage. They shield up because they're absolutely pooping themselves here. And we're going to look to fire off multiple moves with Cresselia. Even if the opponent takes us out here, we can definitely get both shields off the opponent. And these Icy Winds are not going to add up too much. And I think we're still in a very positive position here. We actually go for an overfarm. I still think I live a move, but I decide to shield it up here and look to basically match shields. We store a ton of energy and back in comes Steelix. Now, we're going to start YOLOing off these moves before the opponent gets off a Breaking Swipe. Apply as much damage as fast as possible. They insta-throw the Breaking Swipe, because when do they not? Guys, let me know. Question 2 of the day. Is Steelix broken? Let me know in the comments. I do think it's quite broken. Like I said, guys, we're getting a lot of damage off on this thing. So this is not a bad matchup for Umbreon. Generally, if you do catch this on the lead, you do swap out because you want to preserve your Umbreon somewhat, in case they have something in the back that's weak to Umbreon, of course, like a Ghost type. I stored a bunch of energy. We're going to go for the Snipe here, see what the opponent wants to do. They actually quite surprisingly let it go. And Cresselia is super good against Deoxys as well. The amazing thing about this team is, all 3 of your Pokemon can deal with Deoxys, which is by far the most common lead that I see in the Great League, around the 26 to 2800 elo. This Pokemon is just absolutely everywhere. We chip it down super low. We know the opponent has a Dugong in the back. So I decide to come in with my own Umbreon, basically absorb this energy, and then look to come into Serperior and maybe get an overfarm here. Boom. The opponent goes for another move. Now, did we catch the Psycho Boost or the Thunderbolt? We caught the Psycho Boost, and that's perfectly fine. In comes Dugong. I'm going for the Aurelius here because I realize that the opponent might be able to outpace me, and it's just an easy shield ride. They always shield. They're just like shitting their pants every time you throw a move, and just insta-clicking the shield. I go for an overfarm here to try and get off another move on Deoxys. I think this is a very good overfarm because the opponent is getting quite close to a move, and we CMP on the Frenzy plant. Beautiful overfarm, and that's just the importance of tracking energy. I knew that the opponent, I think, was on 2 counters, so I needed to be free away from the move. very negative lead, Tapu Fini. Let me know if you guys have a Tapu Fini for Great League. It's a pretty cool Pokemon. I think it's pretty bad for Great League, but it's of course amazing for Ultra League. Yeah, I decided, guys, I really need to look up this matchup here in the Zeros. How do you play this against Gligar? Because I go Moonblast and then I think I go double Grass Knot at the end, which I'm not sure, like, should you just go double Moonblast and farm down? I think it's quite difficult to go double Moonblast and farm down. So actually, as we're watching the video here, I do actually want to have a look at this matchup, because I think it's just, like, quite important to know what the damage is and how to play this match correctly, because I felt like every time I was playing it slightly different, really trying to get a feel for it, but generally speaking, you can't beat it. Now, in comes Oinkologne of all things. Not quite what I was expecting to see here in the Great League today. Shiny pink Oinkologne. Very cool Pokemon, but not very good. In comes Tapu. They actually give a swap, which was pretty surprising there. In comes Tapu. They can't really do a whole lot against Serperior. They don't even build up to the Moonblast, which is not really the greatest idea in the world, and they're going to get off another move. Now, I'm thinking the opponent's trying to chip me down, so I'm not going to let them here. I'm thinking that our Serperior is going to be very, very strong here. Boom, Frenzy Plant number 1. We're going to overfarm a little bit. We're going to go for Aurelius, which I think is a little bit risky here. The opponent does shield it though, and we get off another Aurelius. I think once again, guys, I was doing the opponent a favor by going for Frenzy Plants. Sometimes you just have to recognize that your fast moves are doing a lot of damage, and you don't even have to throw the hard-hitting move at times, because if the opponent lets the soft move go, you can just farm them down, right? Dragonite versus this, we're going to play it the same way. Basically throw off a couple of moves, eat the first move off them, trying to overfarm to make them throw in bad timing. The opponent does throw in very good timing here. Body Slam coming through. The one time I would try and throw on CMP, the opponent would CMP me and I would not get the overfarm. That's just how this game goes. The opponent swaps out knowing that I'm about to get off another move, and in comes Lickitung. So this should be quite an interesting team here. We'll see what the opponent is going to do. Guys, I'm still looking up on PvPoke about the Gligar match. So it is a positive matchup for Cresselia in the ones. You're supposed to go for 1 Grass Knot and 1 Moonblast. The opponent can fire off 2 digs and an Aurelius, and you still live it very comfortably. They will shield once, and you don't even have to shield. I think, let me actually have a look at the Zeros out of curiosity. In the Zeros, you just about win it. Going straight Grass Knot, actually. You go for 3 Grass Knots. So that should give you a rough idea of how to play that match. In comes Lantern, guys. This thing has a very, very bad time. Especially in Water Gun. They can't even get to the charge moves quickly. 2 Grass Knots don't quite KO, but definitely get it low enough where you can Psycho Cut down. The opponent's throwing up shields here. Little do they know, we have big, bulky Serperior in the back ready to feast on it. But I realize here, like, I can definitely just swap out, store the move, and put ourselves in a really amazing position here. I can just farm this the whole way down. They may be able to get off a Thunderbolt, which they do. Resisted move. We're going to farm it the whole way down. Back in comes Lickitung. I make a mistake here by going for Aurelius. I need to just throw the correct move, because I'm going to have to throw 2 moves now. Frenzy Plant would have KO'd from that range. Definitely a bit of a miscalculation. We do get an extra little bit of farm. In comes Dragonair. We get off another move again. And once again, guys, we stored the move in Cresselia, which is going to put us in a very good position. I think we even have a move on Umbreon at this stage. And I'm trying to think, like, will the opponent go for CMP? I'm thinking I'm going to come in here with Umbreon and CMP them. They actually don't even throw off the move. So that's perfect. Boom. That's coming through. And then we'll just come in and farm it down with Cresselia. So what was going to happen there is they would CMP. Win the CMP, I would shield and farm them down. So would have been the same thing. The opponent comes into Steelix. We end up going for a foul play here before they debuff us. Now what I want to do is let the opponent debuff me first. Then I'll swap out to Serperior. Basically, I don't want to have that many debuffs on this. Unfortunately, the opponent was over farming, which is quite annoying. So we do have to eat a debuff pretty soon here, but we should be in a very good position here. We're going to throw in good timing just to make sure we can get off as many moves as possible. And I think the opponent probably will shield here, but yeah, they do shield it, of course. They're scared of the damage. They're trying to debuff me into oblivion. These Breaking Swipes and Dragon Tails do add up, so I decide to retain some health on this thing and like to go for another Frenzy Plant. This should come very, very close to KOing the Steelix. And yeah, they do actually let it go, and we farm it the whole way down before they get off another debuff. Now back in comes DD. I throw off the Frenzy. I could have probably overfarmed and swapped straight out, because I have 2 answers to this thing. We're actually, I guess, trying to maintain some sort of alignment here. I'm not sure if this is necessary or not. We actually might need Serperior for something in the back. So we'll see what happens here. The opponent comes into Carbink, so of course Serperior would have been very, very good for this matchup. However, Cresselia has a fine time here. We can throw off super effective Grass Knots, and that's one of the reasons why I think this Pokemon is so strong. And we should definitely be able to win this in the ones. We beat them in CMP right here, and this is just looking to be game over for the opponent. We're going to even shield this move. They go straight for the Moonblast, so we correctly shield it, and the opponent should basically just top left at this point. We're definitely going to get off 2 more Grass Knots. I think even before they get to another Moonblast. It takes 12 Rock Throws to get to a Moonblast. Yeah, we actually CMP on the Moonblast. I'm not sure if this quite KOs, but it's definitely, getting the job done right. We actually do KO it. In comes Umbreon, and the opponent sees the writing on the wall and hits the top left. In the final set, we actually had a 5-0, which is quite nice to hit Expert. Very, very happy with this team. Again, another Defense Deoxys lead. This was in my expert set, and I was like, yo, just keep showing me these Deoxys teams. I'll more than happily take these. And the opponent's actually staying in and let the damage go through. In comes Dragonair, we're going to fire off a move. Try to force a Protect Shield off the opponent before swapping out. And then we'll go into probably bulky Cresselia, right? Yep, so I'm trying to force a Protect Shield. I know that I've got a very positive matchup on the other end, but I just know I can force the shield off the opponent. The opponent is very reluctant to give it up, however they are forced to. They are going to get off probably 2 body slams here, but Cresselia can eat these moves very, very comfortably. We let the second move go, and we're going to look to insta-throw the Grass Knot here. We overfarm slightly and get off the Grass Knot, which will pretty much KO the Dragonair. The opponent actually shields it quite surprisingly, and all I have to do is shield back and take switch. The opponent can go down 2 shields if they want to, and I decided at that point I'll be happy with that. Now all we wanted was alignment. The opponent gave it to us here, so we're just going to come in with Umbreon, like to go straight for foul play, not allow them to do any damage to us. Whenever you have a fast move pressure Pokemon like Dragonair, you want to minimize the damage that you're taking. So I decided, okay, they're getting off a move, pretty unfortunate, it's only a Psycho Boost, and we're going to come in and farm it down with Serperior. The opponent sees the writing on the wall, and we're hopping into the next one. This is a pretty interesting match. I don't really know how this goes, to be fair. I know that I probably just bulk it, that's what I'm hoping for at least. I know I can definitely get 2 shields off the opponent. Yeah, that does a lot of damage. The opponent just lets it go, which is quite surprising. And I think we've thrown bad timing here just to get off the move. The opponent will shield it up, and I'm expecting them to go for an Acid Spray. I do decide to respect the move because I think, oh no, actually I just let it go and swap into Cresselia. I'm thinking it's going to be Medi and Basti. The opponent just got off another last second move, which will be another Leaf Blade, which, oh, it does so much damage. Cresselia is such a bulky Pokemon, but in comes Umbreon, and we're absolutely loaded with Cresselia. Boom, that's going to do, like I said, about 35% damage, and I think I actually might be tempted to shield this here, just to get off a few more Moonblasts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're sticking to good timing. And I'm thinking I might be able to catch my own Umbreon at some point here. Our timer's coming up, can we catch on our own Umbreon? We actually see MP tie on the Grass Knot, which will come very close to KOing the Umbreon. It does KO, and in comes Carbink. Good games, well played. The opponent's using a very toxic team, and I was using Carbink myself today. It is pretty toxic in fairness. Guys, we've been 5-0. This is the first time I've hit Expert this early in the season. Usually the last couple of weeks of the season trying to hit Expert, trying to hit Legend. Hopefully this season we can do a little bit better. We're going to pop the star piece, get the elo check here. But guys, I like I said, enjoy this team. But shout out to Pokogrind once again. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description if you want to go check out his original commentary. And again, King AV, a really fantastic player, which you guys probably all know. Showcase this team. We even get a Guzzlord, which is fantastic. If you are looking to make a climb, this is a very, very strong team for doing so. You just have to watch out for Reggie. You basically just have to sort of stay in with whatever Pokemon you're in with. If it's in the lead, stay in with Umbreon. In the 2 shield, you can whittle it down quite a lot and hope not to get debuffed, right? They have to throw 2 moves to get a KO on you. And by the time they get off 2 moves with a couple of shields, Umbreon's just so bulky that it can basically take care of it. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all next time.